Hey guys, welcome back to the Next Rank YouTube channel with Johnny and Jack. Today we're going to be looking at the NA Regional Grand Final, which was played on LAN. The first RLCS Regional that's ever been played on LAN. Well, I guess the second, because the EU one was the day before. But their first equal RLCS Regional played on LAN. SSG, the new SSG against the new Shopify. We've got Kofer joining First Killer and LJ on Shopify, leaving Reveal. And now Reveal's picked up Diaz and Chronic. So we're jumping into Game 3 of the Grand Final here. We're going to see how were Shopify able to get the job done. But before we get into specifics on that, Jack, your thoughts going into the season on these teams. You've played with Chronic before. You played with First Killer before, so you've got experience playing with these guys.
Yeah.
What were your expectations? How would they go in this start of the new season?
Yeah, I mean, clearly, I think they were both going to be very easily top 3 teams. I saw a lot of people kind of thinking, or I think I saw a lot of people thinking that SSG would be maybe fourth, but some would also say they could be second as well. So I don't know. There was a little bit of mixed opinions, I think, publicly about the SSG team, but I think anyone that kind of knew Rocket League knew they would be good. Like, all 3 players are great. Diaz, despite like the maybe lack of success compared to his skill in 3 so far, was always going to be good eventually. And Reveal was, in my eyes, and I think many pros' eyes, the best, or at least the most consistent kind of performing player on SSG, and very, very well-rounded. So I think that everyone kind of knew that team was going to be good. And then Shopify, of course, they were going to be good, right? You're adding Kofa, who crazy mechanics. I would say kind of the highlight on that old SSG team a little bit in terms of scoring goals. And then, LJ and First Killer, obviously 2 extremely top players. But I obviously have a little bit of kind of extra insight to scrims, just speaking to players and stuff with how it's going. And I never obviously shared too much, but I do know that SSG were
slapping SSG were bodying scrims. And, it's interesting because pros, they don't reveal everything with scrims, especially to casters, because they know they're going to go and tell the world on broadcast. But everybody that I asked about, how's this team going, how's that team going, all of the EU players and teams had very high praise for SSG in particular, and I'm like thinking, okay, I know what that means. That means they're doing well in scrims. That means that because they haven't seen them play on regionals, or they haven't played against them. So they have to be doing well in scrims. So just reading between the lines, it's very clear that this team was looking very impressive. And I think Shopify even said it themselves. They're like, oh yeah, these guys they're beating us in scrims, but they win the final. Shopify win the final. So it just shows scrims aren't everything. We always know that, but you have to remind yourselves, scrims are important. I think I've never heard of a team winning an event while doing terribly in scrims. What's happening here?
That doesn't happen.
I have heard of teams like bombing out of events after doing badly in scrims. It's like you don't win unless you're doing well, but you can absolutely just bomb out if you're doing poorly. It can crush.
100%. I know that this SSG team was extremely confident against Shopify in particular. So I presume they were playing well against them. But like you said, it's not the be all end all, and Shopify showing it. They've played extremely well up to this point, Johnny. They've played extremely familiar to me. They have Pandra as their coach. Now, I was watch partying this these series on this weekend, and I said to my stream, as soon as I saw Shopify play, they're playing the exact same way, or like the exact same playstyle as we did last season, and that wasn't going to be a surprise to me, because our playstyle last season was mostly based off of Panda's kind of thoughts on how the game should be played right now. So this team, it's not even a debate for me in my eyes. This is just the clearest, like stats wise, and also just like eye test wise, they keep very, very far apart from each other. They will always want to go forward in challenges. Sorry,
just to jump in. So when you're saying stats far apart, you mean the furthest from teammates?
Far from teammates. Okay. They'll always be extremely spread out. They will always want to have 2 people back and mostly 2 people back, and let this guy go forward by himself on the ball. Second man will usually want to come in with speed, so they can have the option to leave quickly or crush the challenge forward. And look out for the corners, because they're 50s. They will want to wait for the ball to come out of the opponent's corner into this position or this position. They want to crush the 50 towards the net. That'll be their main kind of few things that they want to focus on. Whereas, and it's very different to what these guys are used to playing, in my opinion, because last year, so like when we were playing last year, I actually like internally, whenever I played ultimates in the scrims, for example, I think they changed their playstyle towards the end and they looked incredible at Worlds and pre-Worlds in the scrims. But for a lot of the season, I thought that like if they played our current style, they would be insane because they were so close together. They sat so close together, I thought, on certain moments. But yeah, LJ and First go obviously on this team. 2/3 of the old Ultimates team, I think they look great with their style. I really like it. But yeah, they want to go forward into every challenge, and it suits them very well. I think it's going to give them a lot of like kind of direction on how they're playing. And I think this weekend we saw it like work out really well. So I'm looking forward to seeing this team, I think.
Yeah. I'm very interested to hear that, and I'm curious to know more about the similarities. So you see they're far apart on the pitch,
yeah,
and you think that can work very well last season. It can obviously work very well this season as well. They've just won the regional cup second at the international event. Mm-hmm. What sort of weaknesses did you run into when you guys had this style, when you had Panda as a coach? What sort of, I know you had like bad matchup with Falcons,
yeah,
GK in your own region. What what do you know what the reasons were? Did you have any speculation what the reasons could be for that?
Yeah, I actually didn't think of the Falcons one because we obviously talked about this before the recording. I forgot about I forgot about the Falcons one.
Sorry, I shouldn't bring it up.
No, because that actually is like very interesting because the GK one, I mean, we're going on to the next game already, but in my opinion, this is genuinely my true opinion. I don't believe there is a kind of a weakness necessarily in the style against certain matchups. I think that in our series that we struggled against certain teams like the Falcons and the GK, that was the two teams really. It was mainly just from maybe, I don't even know, it was like lack of confidence against that specific team, so then we didn't play the style. Like I genuinely don't believe there is a certain weakness with the play style against a certain other one, if that makes sense. But that could just be not. That could be not me not figuring it out, right? Like we didn't end up being able to switch anything and figure it out in the end. So
luckily Falcons aren't a thing anymore either. So Shopify Rebellion, if they ever were going to run into similar struggles, they're not going to need to worry about it because the Falcons bench TRKs. They're probably going to be making adjustments to their style.
Yeah.
And Twisted Minds picking up TRK. Doubt it's going to be a 1-to-1. But yeah, if the idea is to, I like that, as a concept. I think it's something that would be really worth trying, because some things in pro play don't work and don't sound like they're going to work that well in ranked. This actually does sound to me like it would work really well in ranked. So you guys watching should absolutely try this. Stay spread out and work in your timing so you arrive in the play at speed. That's a super, super important thing in Rocket League. And if that's like the style that you and your ranked buddies go for, I could see how you could run in. You could have problems with MENA players. This is a really smart goal, by the way. Love this. Drive challenge in the back corner. Absolutely perfect. And SSG trying to slow the game down doesn't work out.
I like this a lot, and it's because first, obviously, they want to stay kind of far apart. They want to let the guy on the ball do his thing rather than like trying to sit close to the mid pass here. LJ, because that's one thing that they want to avoid, I think, with this kind of style. He just waits back, lets first take it solo out, comes in with speed, and then once it gets into the corner, he's just trying to wait for Chronic to come out into a dangerous position, because anything that LJ gets a challenge in this position on the ceiling, and that he can push it towards net and from those angles, that's good for him. Any kind of 50 that he gets here is just not what they want to do. So he waits to see if Chronic pushes out. Once he sees that Chronic is just not interested in moving, well, he's not even focused on the ball. He's just going to drive challenge. That obviously opens up the midfield because of the previous demo as well. There's space there. And then a great pass and a great shot. We'll just watch that in full. Because, this shot, I think, clocked in at like 146 kph or something crazy like that.
Wow.
I think
that's insane.
It was something ridiculous. We could actually have a look.
I do remember 140, yeah.
we can actually have.
Oh, okay, high tech. Like I like.
Oh
it.
wait, you can see this. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course it's my screen. We can see how fast. Yeah, 143 is what I just got it at, but
I think. Oh yeah, I remember it crossed the line at 140, but he hits it at what 143, which is absurd. This is about as fast as you can get on just a regular.
144 was the highest
144.
speed. Yeah, crossed the line at 140. So extremely fast. Yeah, shot there. But it's credit from LJ for the intelligence in the corner, and then the pass from Kofa as well was perfect. First killer had the very easy job of hitting it top corner at 140 kph.
just a nice little 140. Just not too much power, just a nice amount. But yeah, you can see there the exact example of what you're talking about, arriving with speed, it's all about the timing. And that doesn't just come from the player who's supporting the attack in first killer, but the player leading the attack. Like you pointed out, there's no point rushing to challenge if your teammate's not ready behind you to play off of the 50-50 or play off of the dunk, or even to play off of you being outplayed. Like all the different things that can happen when you're challenging. If your teammate's not there in position, you can just slow down, like Rebellion did here.
It's a very nice showing of making the game look easy and feel easy when you play. Like, just know if you're watching Shopify play in your own time, guys, to learn from them, because you can learn from winning teams, right? Shopify and NA, KC and EU. We'll be making videos on both of them. You can learn a lot. I mean, that is the only goal that SSG got in the entire series, Johnny, and it was a really nice catch into a play over one. The backboard guy is getting bumped, and it's a good dunk as well. So it's like, if they have to score that to score them, well, they're clearly playing well. But yeah, what I was going to quickly say was, if you want to watch Shopify, just look at their corners in particular. Every time they want to, I mean, that is crazy. I just wanted to let you guys watch that for a second from LJ's point of view. Sorry to. Yeah,
this is war recovery, just getting the wheels in the roof.
Yeah,
great save as well.
Insane save.
See that coming.
But yeah, you should want to watch how they are trying to make every ball dangerous. If a ball isn't dangerous, they will go for the boost instead of the ball. Right, and they've done that a few times. And First has done that quite a lot this game, or a couple of times this game. And it makes the game extremely easy for your teammates behind you to know what's going on, and also for yourself, because you'll just find yourself in good spots. You won't be kind of forcing plays. You're not trying to get too close. You're only going in when it makes sense, when the ball's in front of the opponent's net. And you're very threatening, whichever kind of 50 you get in your opponent's corners. If it's going towards their net, they always have to cover it, right? They can't just kind of be lazy in defense, Johnny.
Yeah, you make a good point. I mean, the defense has to be one of the ones to watch, especially in the context of SSG's success against other teams. Yeah. They're putting 5 goals past Vitality, who are not looking like the best defensive team right now, but SSG are still putting 5 past them in one game, 7 past them in another game. SSG are clapping GenG in some of the games they play, and then they go up against Shopify and it's like a brick wall. They can't score. There's no lack of offensive firepower. You talk about, maybe
I mean, you say this,
maybe the shots need to be better, but like Shopify are still putting bodies in the way. They're just making it really difficult every time. Yeah, this is close though.
Yeah, I don't know if I haven't looked at this properly, so I actually can't remember. Whereas Chronic here is. Definitely could have. I think he could have. But I think he could score that. Yeah, there's two people cutting across, right?
It's close. It's not like open.
It is. Yeah, it's close. Yeah, it's not easy, especially because a lot of the LJ had great demos as well. Like he was leaving the ball we weren't on his POV there, but you can see in the offense he's not trying to force the ball, and honestly, neither of them were, or any of them. Sorry, it's good to see, because I think that.
That's against such good defense. They're dodging demos. They're maintaining their boost. I love LJ's boost management in this whole sequence as well, because so many players would just even pro players would waste everything they've got in the first save, but he just keeps so much. I think it's Was it before this? Was it the same before this?
Honestly, I watched this entire like passage of like last minute gameplay before we start recording, before you joined the call, Johnny, and I was impressed with LJ in this last minute, and for that reason, he wasn't, again, stuff like this, he wasn't trying to force the ball with 100 boosts. Even if he had 100 boosts, he's not just taking it randomly in the air for an air dribble, he's keeping it low, he's buying time for his team. And honestly, with a minute to go, I know these are professional players, you expect kind of the most out of them in high pressure situations, but with a minute to go when it's your first regional win on the line, he's got to be feeling some type of, pressure, but he isn't playing like he is at all.
No, won a regional, which is crazy, because you'd think he's won a regional by now. He's been on so many good teams, he's been such a good player, but he actually hasn't. There's been so many near misses. I think the closest I can remember him coming is when we played against Furia before the Boston Major. And now he's won one right before the Boston Major, so it's the second Boston Major, the second time we're going back there. But yeah, the boost management for Rebellion is really impressive. Against Redacted, against SSG, it looked like boost starving them wasn't super effective because they were just able to keep enough at all times. We've got a lot of videos in the course about that, because we think that especially in ranked and for you guys, like, just boost management is it's actually a lot more simple than people think, and it's something you can almost like upgrade by just thinking about it. You can just have a better boost game if you just go into a session with just a couple of key things in mind. So that's something you'll find in the course if you do decide to make the purchase. Link in description. Yeah, Shopify, congrats on winning the regional. LJ, congrats on winning his first regional. Really excited to see more of this team. But yeah, I'm a bit worried about the propaganda that CJ is going to be spouting. That's the only drawback here, is he is going to be
you're going to have to deal with that, so it's okay. I'm all right with that personally, but yeah, I was impressed. I think for you guys watching, some of the kind of key takeaways you can take from these games, from Shopify's kind of gameplay going into ranked, really being careful in the opponent's corners, trying not to make useless 50s, only 50 in the ball, or only starting to challenge the ball when it breaks out, kind of closer to the midfield line or halfway in between the midfield line and the opponent's corner. Keeping distance from your teammates. That one, I'm not going to say is going to fully work for you guys in ranked without a bit of kind of practice using it, or maybe with a teammate. If you're just solo queuing, they might get annoyed if you're not following their touches close enough. So just be careful with that. But if you're experiencing maybe a bit of awkwardness in your game and you're not sure why, try and spread out a little bit, because a lot of the time people do the opposite. Like, I'm awkward. I'm going to try and play off small pads, but also then play extremely close to my teammate. And sometimes it can work, but if you're not feeling good mechanically, if you're not feeling like you're reading the game on point every time, which isn't going to happen, it's not going to work. And spreading out instead of that can make the game feel a lot more simple, and allow you to have more options when you're deciding what to do on the pitch. That's what I felt like with this kind of style, and I think Shopify will feel the same, and you guys will as well in ranked. So those are kind of my couple takeaways from the style, Johnny. But yeah, congrats to Shopify. I think they played extremely well. I do think that if we see this series again, because we have seen this series before in the best 5, and SSG took it 3-1. I do think at the same time, as much as this series being a 4-0 was Shopify playing extremely well, I do think SSG was slightly below their level.
They're nervous
that we've seen. And I think that if we see it again, it could be a lot different. But yeah, we'll have to wait for that.
I think I might have said in the channel before, or I might have probably said this in multiple videos in the next ranked course, that one of the things that I've noticed over the years when I'm just messing around playing ranked with my mates and we're on a losing streak, that this playstyle is one of the things that will work the best at fixing that. Is just spreading out, because some days you're just really in sync with your buddies. Everything they do makes sense. You're on the same wavelength. You don't have to wait and see what's happening. You already know what they're gonna do. And on a day like that, you can play closer together. You just you feel like, oh my goodness, we are just absolutely locked in right now. Everything's going perfectly. But that's not gonna be every day. Some days you're just not gonna be reading your teammates very well, and they're not gonna be making the plays that you're expecting. And something happens, you're like, whoa, didn't expect that. And if you're too close to the play, you're out the game. But if you realize that's happening, if you just think, okay, we're having an off day, synergy's not clicking, let's just spread out. Let's just give each other as much space on the pitch as possible, so it's clear as day whose ball it is to go for, whose challenge it is to go for, whose boost it is. It makes the game easier for you, and yes, maybe, debatably, you could say it makes it easier for the opponent in some ways. But yeah, focus on yourselves, focus on... That's something you heard all the teams say, actually. We're just going to focus on ourselves. Every team's saying that over the Copenhagen weekend in interviews. They're not worried about the other teams doing.
Yeah.
They're just doing their thing.
Because
if you guys can make it easy for your teammates, you're going to be a good teammate to play with.
Yeah, it's the reason they're all saying that, and I really agree. Like, if you focus on your own gameplay, I mean, it's going to work out in the end, because Rocket League's not really a... It is in certain aspects, but mostly it's not exactly a counter strategy kind of game, right? Like, where you're gonna have to counter your opponent's strategy. You are indirectly on, like, in small things, in decisions in the moment, but as an overall play style, that's not really a thing, in my opinion. So yeah, just focus on yourself and focus on fixing the mistakes that you can control. Is always going to be more beneficial, rather than worrying about everything else that's happening on the pitch that really isn't in your control. For example, the way your opponent is playing. Of course, you should think about it, and we're not just saying don't pay attention to that, but just in the small aspects, and not maybe overall in the in their kind of play style. But yeah, it's definitely a good point. Johnny, I think for me that is all that's all that I have for you guys today. Hopefully you have learnt something about, you know, Shopify's regional win. At least that's what we think that when we see it. It's very hard to kind of see truly what a team is doing without being purely involved on the pitch. But from a viewing kind of standpoint, hopefully you guys maybe got some tips that you can apply into your own game, or just some knowledge in general about one of the best teams in the world right now. But guys, if you have enjoyed, drop a like, drop a sub, check out the course at thenextrank.com, check out all of our other videos on our channel, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.